off again. I saw this and I thought that's quite true actually. Right, Facebook. If you're on Facebook and you're British Layout Society, it's worth joining. It is free to get on, like anything else, most things. But you can learn loads of things. People putting their stuff out, little trials and errors, and they will do a weekly, as they did last year, a weekly sesh, meaning you can enter your Gladys, and those are all the guidelines. But just if you're on Facebook, just go on the British Gladiator Society, and then if you do enter them, you can put them on the Zoom as well. Right, flowers. I'm going to put my 3 favourite flowers on. If anybody else wants to do it as well, just sort out your 3 favourites and then send me a photo. Alstroemeria, love them. Delphinium, they've got to be a second good favourite. And these now are not standing upright. What I should have done was tied them up again, because we had a good solid downpour an hour ago, and they're very close to being falling over. And this is my 3rd little favourite. I'm only springly little things, but I think that the flowers themselves look like little angels. Love them. This is a photo out of Facebook during the week. These are allotments. I think it was Norway, and this is how one district or town do their allotments. And you got your own little patch, as you can see them all fenced in, but they go and stay in there for weekends. See, they've all got a good sized shed, i.e. there's a bed and a kitchen or something in. But I thought that's somewhat different. There ain't much veg growing on some of them now. Probably just somewhere to get away. Right, this was last week down a little bougainvillea. I got these in again, so I jobbed me one of them, brought him back home, which there he is. So there is last year's. So the same people are doing the same thing every year, i.e. because I'm using the same pots again. And there's my other one. If I zoom in on him, you can see this just turning to go red, then pink. But so I've got another chap of that going along. Right, this is the shed. This is us moving all our stuff out. There's these lot here. That's our tabletops for the show. Obviously the vases for setting up, and these are the tables people use. So this lot's coming out, and they're going in our shed, which we moved around the corner last week. Managed to get John with his van. He's a good lad. He was loaded up, got the troops out. Been knackered with that, the troops. And this is just around the corner, and he was opening up for us. And you can see our little trading shed there. So as we go up the drive, I want to get our advert on there as well, so people driving up can see it. Right, this is our shed. That's everything moved in. So all the tabletops are in there, elevated, so they've got a bit of air movement around them. Eventually I want to put little packs in, so they are separated. Staging's in, buckets, everything else. There was a little drip in there from we had storms about 5 days ago. There was bloody good storms as well, meaning rain's going to get anywhere. So me and Mark have hopefully sorted that one out as well. So there's our training shed there. That's where the marquee will go on there, nice and flat. So we've only got to go from there to carry all the stuff out, which is perfect for us. All I've got to do is muster the troops, which is no sweat anyway. So it's the first time ever we've had loads of space in the new shed, and all my bags I've opened up. The fertilisers, because there's a few people starting clubs up, and they've asked me what they get and how they do the training sheds. So all the fertilisers I get in to help people out, i.e. helpers, I start alphabetically working the way up there. So I've got in bags, obviously by bulk, There's bone meal, bloodfish and bone, calcified seaweed, dried blood, Epsom salts, grow more, Uffenhorn, nitrile chalk, potato fertiliser, seaweed meal, spring and summer, that's lawn dressing, sulphate of ammonia, sulphate of potash, superphosphate, Vitax Q4. And the ones that we sell most of, the ones that are bagged up, are lime, grow more, and vermiculite. And Steve, you got your hand up, mate?
Sell canes and all, mate.
Yeah, they're on top here, 8 foot.
Okay, mate, thank you. 8
foot, 6 foot, 5 foot, 4 foot. The liquids we got on top, Jay's Fluid, Tom Feed, Maxi Crop, and Armilitox. I think I've got 4 Armilitox left. Once they've gone, that's it. By the ton, we got stuff next door. I get the rock dust, worm cast, and multi-purpose compost. Spent mushroom compost, but we are looking into multi-purpose compost as well. Nick, yes, mate.
Do you remember when we met up, whenever it was back, I don't know, September time last year, you gave me a bottle of feed. It's in like a 1 litre bottle, and it's like 1 drop every 2 weeks. 1 drop per litre. What do you remember what that is, Nick?
That was a liquid fish.
Yeah, that's it, the liquid fish, yeah.
Yeah, that's mine.
Okay.
It
works well. It's doing well on my cabbages.
It's a good brew. Yes. Did somebody say Mick then? No. What else have I got down the bottom here? Chempack. There's Chempack 2, 3, 4 and 8. Seed and potting. There's also labels, Miracle Grow, and the rest of the gum. But now we've got the room next door, I can stock up with more things. This is me just weighing out the lime. Right, when I was down the shed Saturday, somebody bought this spare cucumber down, mini cucumber, which I've done before. I ain't done one this year. Nobody come down. Who wanted it anyway, so I thought, well, I ain't going to bin it. So I've got a gap in between my 2 pot leeks. This is in the tunnel back of the garden. So a bit of Mike go under his Harris. White roots that tell me he's still going strong. Then I bung him in. Now, years ago, I used to do the cucumbers, and a couple of times I got a stem rot on the bottom. So what I do now, I'm a bit careful watering anyway, but I still do it. I get a plastic cup, slice it up, and then put him around the cucumber, and just clip that round slightly. So if I do water there now, it goes nowhere near the stem, so the stem's got no chance of rotting off. Put my straw back round him, and then weigh to the chap, and I've tied a bit of string to the top, and I've just trained that round the cucumber. That'll guide him up, same as I do with my climbing spinach. And he's done well, he has took. Right, I want to use this space for next year. What I'm going to do is get some fruit trees in pots. And I asked Jerry which ones I use. I want the fruit ready for our show. First or second week in September. That's where they're going to go eventually. Strawberries, I've had another load off this afternoon. Still getting them. And that was me jar, which I made from last week. And for pudding after my tea, strawberries and ice cream. Right, my Gladys, I had some spare Gladys, and they've started coming up in the side. Steve, got your hand up, mate?
You know what strawberries they are, Mick?
One's colossal, the other one, I don't know, I ain't got a clue.
Okay, thank you.
I've had them for moons. But some of my spare corms, because I'd run out of room, I plotted them all around the plot. Back garden, sorry. And I put a label in, saying where they were, so if I was weeding or something with a hand fork, I wouldn't go through them. But they've started coming up, as you can see there. Another chap there, and there's another one. Poppy's dying off. The yellow poppy, them are nice and bright yellow when they do come out. but pinching off the seeds, I don't want them spreading, so I'll take the heads off them, as you can see on there. And this chop will be coming out soon, so that's something else to take over. Right, then one of my talks anyway, them are the bottles of liquid fish, which I take. Obviously, there's dust on because we've been down for 2 years. But these are what they come in originally off my mate, and I'll get 2.5 bottles out of this one. But this is the bottle I sent to Colin last week because he's sorting me out with him plastic cups. He's a good lad. There we are, 1 drop per litre. They get a drop, plus they get a foliar feed. And I've done this again this afternoon because there was no sun out and nothing. I knock the canes and then get them a spray for pollination, as you can see there. But everything gets it if there's no sun on them. And this was took earlier on during the week because now my climbing spinach, he has reached the top of the string. So I'm going to trade him right the way across the top. And the good thing about these now, these new shoots at the bottom, they've started coming out. So if you mentioned, it was mentioned last week by Lynn, who gave me this one, that she saw them somewhere, and then there's a nice screen of them. And that's why there's a nice screen, because there's so many arms coming up, which is good for me. I love them. Nice bit of colour now up the borders. This was me mate, Roger, Alderman Peas. I'll get him a talk, or his garden club a talk a couple of years ago. And I got there early, and he didn't live too far away, and I went round and had a look at his setup. He's got some Boston land, good, what I call a good back garden, but he loves growing as well. He's a good lad. Jeffrey, our first speaker.
Well, Jeff.
Are you ready, Jeff, mate?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Good man, all yours.
Hello, everybody. This is the first year I've grown successfully elephant garlic. And it was grown next to my other garlic. But the elephant garlic did not get rust and kept on growing. So the size of them are about 1.5 fists. They're really, really, really thick and good. Next one, Nick. These are the corms that come on the elephant garlic next to it. The question is, do I use these and try to get garlic from them next year, or don't I? If anybody's tried this, please let me know. Right, next picture, Mick. These are the shallots I dug up, and I only dug them up because they're the size that I need, that I want. I don't grow them for exhibition or anything, but I don't want them too large. They're just for use in kitchen. I don't pickle them, just let them dry and use them because I love them more than onions. Yep. See, there's quite a good size. Some of them are really big, and I was really shocked with them because I thought new garden, first time shallots, we'll see. In the old garden I used to grow a lot of them. No onions with all shallots, but these look really good. There were 4 or 5 to a bunch. So when I picked them, they were all good, except 2 that were in there that were kind of flat. They kind of did nothing, like a spring onion, no bulb. But when I took them out, there were no roots on them. And the only thing I could see was a little worm. Yep. Yeah, Colin. Go on.
Anybody have a question then?
Yeah, I think Colin has.
Jeff?
Yeah?
Just a quick tip that I've learned from previous experience regarding storing shallots. Don't store them in the greenhouse. Try and find somewhere that's airy with a draft through. I stored my shallots in my greenhouse 5 or 6 years ago, and I lost the lot because essentially they cooked.
Yeah, I'll take note of it. Normally these are just for drying there, and as soon as they're a bit more straw than green on them, I take them inside, pop them in the garage, take off all the straw bits and leave them like that. And normally I only get 1 or 2 dolphins in there, and the rest normally stay good. But these are shallots, and I love them. They're called Jerrymore or Jermore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're I find them they're excellent for me. But saying as I saw the one that made it, the one with the test with the ring, 3-inch. What was it? 3-inch ring?
30 mil ring, yeah.
Oh, 30 mil. Well, I don't think they'd fit through it. Some would, but some are really, really big.
Yeah.
But I want to get one of those rings for next year, so I'll have a look on the website to get one of those rings just to see how big they get every year.
Suzanne, question?
When did you plant them, germol? Was it spring or autumn?
I always plant my shallots in spring.
In spring, because we get the germol in autumn, and as I said last week, mine didn't come out very well.
No,
so I was just wondering,
it's the same like they say with overwintering onions, what they call Japanese onions. I've tried them and they don't do it for me.
See, my onions are fine. It's just the shallots. I've tried 3 or 4 years now with these germol, and I just can't get them big. So I'm going to try splitting them next year.
I just put them in about February time.
Okay.
It's because they hit. I put them in, and then it hit -10 here for a few days. So I said, "That's it, they're gone." And there was just a little, like 3 centimeters, like 1.5 inches of green showing out. I said, "I've lost them," and look, they're fine.
And they didn't, You know, sorry. Also, you mentioned about the corms on the garlic.
Yeah.
If you plant them in spring, but they'll take 2 years.
Ah, okay.
Because if you plant the corms, then when they're due to dig up, you'll get just a clove rather than a bulb, and then you plant that clove again the following spring, and then you'll get the bulb.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Next picture, mate. But these are tomatoes. They were doing very well. I'll explain at the end. So I took a few leaves off. Said that's okay. So expose them more.
Dennis, you got your hand up, mate.
Somebody just mentioned trouble with sound. I got a job to hear as well. I just got a job to hear him now talking about the shallots.
Yeah.
He seems like he's very distant away from me.
I'm in Belgium. You're in England. It is.
I didn't mean. I didn't mean. It just seems like that you're a little bit quiet, and I'm really struggling to hear what you're saying.
Okay, I'll talk a bit.
I'm in Wales as well, so it's further away again.
Oh yeah, okay.
and I'm as deaf as a post, so it could be a bit difficult.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Try turning your sound up.
Turn it up, Dennis.
Turn your sound up.
That's okay. This is a carrot. I've told you about before. I planted it. It's a long carrot, and I planted it in drain pipes. And the drain pipes are not cut down or anything. So I don't know. It's 4 meter drain pipe. So that's 2 meters here is equal to a door, the height of a door. So they're double the height of a door. Those pipes. And I keep watering it, just seaweed feed, and that's it. And I've got the next one. That's a parsnip in there as well, and just in the middle of my polytunnel, and they are the length of my polytunnel. So where they're growing inside, I don't know, but I made a hole with a very long cane on the side, and the water rushes through now all the way down to the bottom. So there's about 1 liter of water that goes in there in about 10 minutes time in various stages when I pour it. And now it's finally sagging in the middle, so it means the water is getting to there. So I'm glad about that anyway. So it should be good water, then we'll see what happens at the end. Next one, Vic. These are gladioli in pots. And as you can see, in the picture, there's 2 flower spikes already. And I looked at the pot, it was number 9. And it was, I looked it up this morning. What's his name? I think it's Carnival. It's a yellow one, yellow greenish one with a red stripe. I'll put the name on here the next week because they've opened today, but only a little bit of yellow that you can see with the red. No, flamenco, that's it. The name. So they should be very good to show. And at the bottom, as you can see, if you look at the bottom of that pot, yeah, that is a begonia. So I said, if these go over and they've had it and I need to cut off the spike, there's normally 5 corms in every pot. So from every pot, I'm going to leave 1 corm with a spike on to get seeds from it and see if you can get different varieties from seed. I said that then the pots stay there, they're not decorative, they're anything, they're just in the way. So I put trailing begonias in there. So they should give color till the end of the summer or the end of end of summer, beginning of autumn, for a bit more color. Yeah.
The seeds you're going to take there off your gladius, have you done that before, or is this a trial?
I've done it before, but they were mixed gladiolas that you buy in a bag, and a friend of mine just put them in his garden on his allotment against the fence, and he just left them. And I never thought about doing it from seed. I said 3 years, 4 years. I don't know if I want to do that. But now, when I started with the TPS, I kind of said, if you can do potatoes from seed, I have the patience for that. Why not try other stuff from seed? So I'm going to try and see what I get it from. I'm going to try and cross. There's a deep velvet one in there, and then there's a really bright white one. I don't know the names of by heart, they're on the list. But I'm going to try and cover 2 flowers of the red one and 2 flowers of the white one from the bees with the netting.
Yeah.
And try to hand pollinate them and keep those 2 seeds and see what comes out.
Oh, real.
So I'll have a try.
That'll be interesting, huh?
Yep. So there they are, all the glads. And that's next door's garden. And you can see on his onions and shallots from the other one. No, sorry, okay. If you look at his onions and shallots, they've all been done by the flea beetle, the allium leaf miner.
Oh.
He's got nearly nothing. There's when he pulled them, there was all pulp. And just to show the difference, mine were covered. Next picture, please, big. Mine were covered, but of course, stupidly, I checked them and I took out all the weeds, and I said, well, you shouldn't have allium leaf miner around now till September, so I'll take the cover off and let them get more air through, more sun on them, and not replace the cover. So the next day, we had kind of a hurricane here. We had rain, hail, sleet in there, then more hail, and it went on for about an hour and a half. And I dreaded going back to the garden the next day. I said, I uncovered the onion just about a week too early. So I said, I'll have a look. So I went up and only the right-hand side of it, kind of, they fell a bit. So I said, I'll put string around and see if I can keep them upright. It's upright a bit, but not like it was when it was under the cover. So next year, I think I'm going to leave the cover on. Right, Mick? As you can see, I've sowed them in 3 and 4s and planted them out like that. And I planted out individuals as well. So they are Bedfordshire champions because I like them for keeping. And they're this size now. The biggest in there is a tennis ball size, which is more than big enough for me. But they're still growing, so I let them grow all the way through till they die off. But I'm very surprised to see that they are really pushing each other away. The only thing I want to know, and I will find out, if the place where they push each other aside isn't softer than a normal storing onion from the pressure it puts on each other for
Yeah.
pushing it away. So maybe that place will be more tender or not. I'll see. Yeah, mate. See, that's just the elephant garlic drying out a bit, and that's my ordinary garlic. And you can see the ordinary garlic is full of rust. It's just one powdery stuff when you touch it, unbelievable. And I can't get hold of the, what's it called, bumper. I can't get hold of it. But the elephant garlic didn't get any rust on it at all. Now it's just drying off like that.
Mm.
It's good. See, that's the onions again. The show, it's not just one that's going good. These are carrots. They got done by the wind and the rain as well. But when you pull them, I think I sowed a wrong variety the first time. And I got carrots about 2 inches long and with 4 or 5 little forks going, splitting. But the carrot itself was fine, and then just 4 or 5 little roots on it. I said, that's strange. So I pulled the first lot. I said, I'll leave them and I'll see what happens. And when I pulled them this week, there were long ones in there, but still very, very thin. So I'm going to leave them, scratch around a bit before I pull and see what happens. But they're going really good. And you see on the right hand side of the picture, in the other bed, that is what's it called? Physalis. And it's kind of a Japanese lantern thing that you put on ice creams or on cakes to decorate. You kind of twist the tops, and it's an orange ball. They're really delicious to eat, but it grows quite tall, should grow quite tall. And then September, November, you get the fruits of it. They're really good to eat.
They're also called Inca berries.
I don't know,
Inca berries, yeah.
but they're very good to eat.
What's on the other side, Jeff?
Eh?
Is it rhubarb?
No, a Swiss chard.
Mm.
Different colors of Swiss chard.
Okie doke.
Next week. Right, this is where I've sown this week my second lot of climbing beans. My climbing beans are Cobra, and in the middle of the row I just planted out sunflowers, spare corn I had in the middle. I said they'll go up straight and the beans can grow around them, so no problem. So I put second lot of beans in. Every cane gets 5 beans in, and then the variety Cobra, because I really do trust the variety to grow very well, but you don't get as much from them from Cobra as I get from other climbing varieties, but they keep longer on the stems. They don't go thready. I haven't got the thread in them if you leave them longer. Yeah, right.
Nigel, got your hand up, mate.
Jeffrey,
Yeah.
on the climbing beans, have you tried a variety called Blue Lake?
No.
Them are very, very similar to the Cobra. I think you'd like those.
I'll
Okay.
write it down again, because I'm looking for a newer type, but the only type I've ever tried before was Viking.
Yeah.
Something we had here, but it was okay. But when you had to pick them young, because if you left them a bit, if you snap them, there were 4 or 5 threads in them.
They store quite well as well, so it's well worth a look. Blue Lake.
Okay, I'll have a look.
Very, very abundant as well, aren't they, Nige?
Yeah.
I'll have a go. This is something I tried, but the sweet peas don't seem to like it. That's the back of the garden. That's the part that gets most shade. They get a bit of sun, about 2 hours a day of sun. The rhubarb loves it. The courgettes, no problem. The sweet potatoes, not that much. And what happened to the sweet peas in there, they won't climb, they just flop about. So I'm going to try and tie them up, but the rest seem to like it in there. Yeah, mate.
Stephen, you got a question, mate?
I grew cobra. I have done for 10 years, and they're absolutely crap. You get a few off, and it goes on and on and on, and then it just doesn't do anything. I've never had any success with cobra.
How come you grown for 10 years, Steve?
10 years.
How come? Because they're free.
But I've grown cobra
Nick,
for a long time, and I
hand
don't.
up.
Yeah, I've grown cobra for the last 5 years. Last year I grew 7 or 8 plants. I probably had 40 kilos or 50 kilos of beans. I'm growing about 20 this year. I'll probably get 100. I'll probably get 50 pounds of beans. I'll probably get 100 pounds of beans. They're prolific, unbelievable.
Yeah, I find they keep going and going and going.
Yeah.
But
Pinch
then
them out
all
at
of
the
a
top,
sudden
7
they
or 8
go.
foot.
twink.
and
You
just
must
go.
have right soil then, because mine just don't do anything.
Give me a shout. I'll send you some seeds.
Okay, mate, will do. Definitely.
Okay, next picture, please, Nick.
I saw did that one.
Who said that?
I'm just said it gets hard.
This is just a hedge that I put against my cabbage cage. Just foxgloves. What the purple's one are called, I don't know, but I've got purple and white. And on the other end, you'll see in another pic, I think, they together, the purple and the white, and they really, really good. So I pushed all the foliage back, put a piece of string against it to keep them back, because under there are dahlias, taggets, and cosmos. And because we've had that much rain, and there's that much foliage, and the wood chip, the slugs have been having an absolute feast in there. It's like street food for them. And all the dahlias that I've put along there, they're about stems about 5 centimeters high, about 2.5 inches high, and you can see they've just been eaten. You've just got a stem, that's it. So I'm hoping with a bit of sun, if we're ever going to get any, they'll come through. But I dug one up, the bulbs are okay, everything is okay, it's just slugs. Yep, next week. This is to show how something can go wrong. It is my potato bed, and because I grow sour tomato, I said, okay, they last very long before you have to pick them. I can pick them in December if I want. So I said, why not try wildflower seeds on top of them? A few poppy seeds, a few this, few this, few this. So in Lidl, in the beginning, they had a packet of, you had butterfly meadow seeds and then summer meadow seeds. So I said, okay, I planted my potatoes, and on top, I just scattered the seeds, and I said, I'll have a look, see what happens. So they are too tall, they flop about, then they fall down, then they cover everything, then everything turns slimy, and then, like I had to do last week, you have to cut everything back. And then the trouble starts, because you have to recognize the potato leaf, the potato stem, and cut everything with scissors from around it. So your potatoes have the leaves to continue growing. So that's one thing I'm not going to try again. But they live and learn.
Lesson learned, yeah.
That's the cabbage cage. From left to right are red cabbage, cauliflowers, sprouts in the middle because it's highest, so I can keep the cover on in the winter. Then green cabbage, Savoy cabbage, white cabbage, and I've left a row in there for the next cauliflowers, the overwintering cauliflowers are going to go on the right hand side. But the net works well. This is a trial of 3 tomato plants. The first tomato plant on the left, I should say, is I planted him single because I know that one is what's it called, the blight resistant one, Crimson Crush. I said if he does okay outside, I'll plant 2 ordinary tomato plants that are not supposed to be blight resistant or for outdoor. So the other one is a Shirley and the other one is a beefsteak tomato. But on the beefsteak, there's nothing there yet to show. And the 2 nearest to us, on the right hand side, you can see tomatoes. That's from the Crimson Crush, and the other one is the Shirley. So they're doing good. And I've got one. Well, today was one red tomato. The first one was on that one you're pointing to make on the Crimson Crush. It's not big. I've got to say that it's not a big tomato, but at least it got a red one and it's outside. And in this weather we're having, like, it's just keeps raining, unbelievable. Everything gets flooded here. It's really, really crappy weather this year.
Crimson Crush. Crimson Crush, Nigel's favourite.
No, I like them as well. I trust them kind of. Now, this is what I showed you in the beginning a few months back when I sowed my dahlia seeds. So I sent dahlia seeds to Mick too. So if anybody has the next week's dahlias that are coming out from the seeds I sent you, if you can take a pic and send it to me, I'll be very grateful. So these are the buckets that I plunge into the ground. Every bucket has 2 dahlias in them and has that snowy white stuff in front of it as well. They just call it snow carpet. But you can see how the dahlias are doing. They're doing good. Yeah, Mick? And see everything on the side of the bed, of all the beds, are every time there are 2 pots of dahlias with 2 pots with 2 dahlias inside. Also in there is a begonia, an upright begonia called double-headed triumph or something. They're in there as well. They're coming through now, so they should give a bit more later color, and the taggets in there. So everything there looks okay, and those dahlias have not been touched by slugs, and I don't know why. Because
Dave,
on the other side,
question, mate.
Is this in your garden or on your allotment, Jeff?
allotment.
Thank you.
So I don't know why they don't attack that kind of dahlia, or if it's on the other side, all the dahlias have been eaten. So either it's because they're in pots, or either it's a different kind of dahlia that they don't like the taste of. I don't know. Or pure luck. No. Next one, please. This is. I had to cut back the hedge. They haven't been to trim the hedge, so the hedge is the height of the gate post, and I trimmed that back just to see the climbing rose I keep there. And that's a rose. It smells nice, but it's a rambling rose, and I keep it there because it's so prickly, thorny, unbelievably. And there's a gap between the fence and the hedge, and they can't get over the prickly thorns. So I keep that one there and let it do whatever it wants to do. The only thing I do to it every year is bend over the new shoots flat, so they go more along the hedge, and that's it. But it's a really beautiful one, and she really smells lovely. Yeah, Mick? That's another rose, Red Riot, and in front of it is something called Cleopatra's Needle, Etheranthum or something, and it's supposed to be about 2 meters tall, so about 7 foot. And they say it makes, first year it makes a great abundance of grass, leaves like grass, and then the second year you get a flower. Well, this is the first year I got that, so I don't know what happened or what's going to happen with it. I don't know. And the rest are all the poppies that I keep for seed for next year. So they'll be pulled out about another week, and then I just hang them upside down on a piece of string, and with the heads about 5 inches into a bucket. And every time I pass, I just knock them a bit, like you do with your tomatoes, Mick, so the seeds can fall into the bucket when they're dry. Then I collect them and sprinkle them around the whole garden again the next year. Yeah, Mick? Now this was a question I wanted to ask, what's his name?
Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry.
He's not on tonight.
No, but it's something that's a quince pear tree. I've had it for 4 years. It's 4 years year the flowers kind of set this year, but that happened to it, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's fungus or just a twig that broke or something. I just wanted to show him and see if anybody knew.
It's called large footprint.
Yeah.
Disease. As you can see, somebody left the shoe behind.
I leave it there because a robin nests in there.
Have you sprayed weed killer at all, Jeffrey?
Pardon?
Have you sprayed weed killer at all?
No.
No.
No weed killer.
Great minds think alike, Nigel. I was just going to ask the same.
No, I don't spray any weed killer around there.
I've got an apple tree that's same.
No, because you can see at the fence at the back, that's against the outside fence, and there's a hell of a lot of weeds on there, and I need to get at them, but I can't get them from this side, and the other side is like a little stream that runs there, a little ditch they made to let the water run from a garden into there if there's overabundance of water, and I can't get over that because it's swollen over the banks, and I can't get at the weed to pull it out because it needs to come out. It's like that. We call it sticky weed here. If you put your hand in and go like and turn your hand like that, it all just pulls out, and they're all little kind of balls, and they stick to everything. They stick to your clothes, to your shoes, to everything, to your gloves, and then they spread around, and then you get in more places. So I need to get it out of there, but I'll have to try again this week. It's the only place that I've left it because I can't reach it. The rest in the garden is all gone. Before
Jeff, what kind of light has that got, that quince?
Pardon?
What kind of light has it got?
Shade, mostly.
My apple has, and I think that's what's caused it.
I know. Normally next to it, there's an apple Discovery that does very well. But last year I proved it very, very hard back. So it's okay in apples this year. Got a few. Didn't expect any because I cut it back that hard. And on the right hand side of the apple tree is a pear tree, Conference. That's doing okay, but last year was a bumper crop, so this year I think it's going to be a dormant year. There are a few on there, but not a lot. Yeah.
Okay. I'll send that photo to Jeffrey, to Jerry.
Okay, thank you.
Ask him, but he's judging tonight.
Okay. Right, this is something that I saw on Facebook from Giant Vegetable Society, I think. Well, no, yeah. The one with Kevin.
Kevin 40.
Giant Veg, Kevin 40.
Yeah, that's him. He said something about tallest rhubarb. So I had a look around and got these off. And that bed is 80 centimeters. I don't know what it is. It's 4 foot, 80 centimeters, I think.
32.
Or 32. So that is 73 centimeters. The first one is 73 centimeters from the base of the leaf till the white bit that you pull out of the ground. So just for a bit of fun, said, I'll throw that in. Let them see what goes on. So that's rhubarb, the fine rhubarb. Other ones are short and thick. Yeah, mate. Yeah, that's 73 centimeters. Just hitting the bed. But I don't know if anybody does that for a bit of fun. And that's the leaf of one of them, of the short ones, the short fat ones. So I'm hoping to get the leaf like that next year at the time of Naked Garden Day. So then I can join in.
You reckon that'll
be this year?
Don't give me ideas.
Mickey uses the rhubarb stalk.
Send that to Mel Sykes, you with your friend for life.
Yeah, you don't put it back a rhubarb stalk, Mick.
This is another thing I didn't know and didn't realize. These are Dutch iris, they called, and I always have them in the garden in pots and flowering. But these came out just as the tulips and narcissi were dying back. They stopped flowering. So I said, okay, if they flower after those two, my pots are always tulips and narcissi. So if I bung a few of these in, then the pots can stay in longer in flower. So this year I'm going to get some of these as well and just pop them in between the tulips and the narcissi as well, and create a bit longer color in the pots. Yeah, mate. That's beetroot, baby beetroot. I like them like this, and the yellow ones, I really like the yellow ones, especially when you put them in a pot just to color them. Yeah, mate. So you see, I cut them up, put them in jars, and they're boiled, and then I add apple, as you can see on the right, on the pot in front on the right hand side. There are pieces of apple and pieces of rhubarb that I cut in little pieces, put them in there, and then I make the liquor, put the liquor on into them, through the jars shut, and then, yes, Mick, next picture, I boil them, and then you can store them, like, see, I boil them like this. They take 90 minutes, then they're preserved, and I keep them like this. So every time I eat beets, I take out a piece of apple and a piece of pickled rhubarb with it for eating with cheese or salad or pate or anything you want.
Jeffrey, what do you use for the liquor?
I use beet juice. No, so like from the yellow one, I take one beet and I juice it, and then I add vinegar, and I just do vinegar till you taste the vinegar in the juice, and then to sweeten it, instead of using sugar or anything, I use apple juice.
All right, thank you.
So it's apple, vinegar, and the juice of the beets. And I prefer them that way because I told Mick last year, I said, put some apple juice in. And it really, really gives it a different taste, and I love it. I prefer it to just the beets. This is in a friend's garden, and I'm kind of jealous of that. They started with 2 plants, and they were only little ones. And this is 5 years on. So every year he takes out the plants, cuts them in half, and plants them further along the fence. It's magnificent. They're about 1 meter high, and there are 8 plants in there. So if you look at all the flower he gets from 8 plants, it's incredible. Yep. And this is my problem. I told Mick about it yesterday. It was kind of, I'm not saying a panic, but it wasn't near to, not that far away from panic. I come into my greenhouse to my punning tunnel yesterday. So I did a bit of gardening, came in, said I'll have sit in my chair, have a drink, have a cup of tea. And I looked at what the hell is that? So my tomato plants on this side of the tunnel have all gone like that. They've all wilted. And I looked at the leaves, nothing was on the leaves, nothing, no spots, no aphids, no nothing. And they just went in one day, bah, I don't want to continue anymore. What the hell? So I looked, and from the 6 plants in that row, only one, the first one on the other side, hasn't got it. But then there you can see the drain pipes, and on the other side are tomato plants as well, and they haven't got it.
Did sunburn?
I don't know. In one day it couldn't have been sunburn because we haven't had sun here and temperatures here for about 2 weeks, and they were fine the day before, and I don't know what it is.
Looks like blight.
No, there's nothing on the leaves.
Blight.
They look like they're lack of water.
No.
Yeah.
I put water on them yesterday, but it can't be lack of water because if they're planted into the ground itself,
Yeah.
and the ground is level with the ground outside. So if I go down about 5 centimeters, 2.5 inches, then they've got water. And they're planted really deep. And what I was thinking was, after the amount of rain we've had, if the garden is level, maybe it's too much water. And then I said, I don't know, every garden should have it then.
Nick,
Could be.
friend of mate.
I'd have a look at the roots if I were you. I think there's some sort of grubs have got a hold of the tomato roots. It's I've seen it before.
Could be on a swale.
Yeah.
I mean, like weevils.
Yeah,
Like
something's
weevils
got
and-
something's
yeah.
got hold of the roots.
I think it's tomato wilt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I looked it up on YouTube and sent video to Mick about it about half an hour ago, I think. And there's somebody on YouTube, and I just was looking at tomato plants, problems, pests, and on the channel it says tomato leaf wilt after heavy rain. So
Yeah,
I
it
said,
could be.
I'll have a look.
It's not blight.
No,
No.
I can't see any sign of like. No, that's what really stumped me. I really couldn't see anything wrong with him.
And I wouldn't have said it was overwatering as well, because I've overwatered tomatoes plenty of times, and I've never seen anything like that.
No.
That's a viral problem, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Did you grow out, Jeff? Did you grow out there last year?
Last year in the middle. No, yeah, last year was a path there.
You might be just edging onto a swale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look it up.
Okay.
SW.
No, but
Okay.
I don't know if that's the last picture or not, but the tomatoes are the size of my hand. Great looking tomatoes, everything. They're white, still white. No, they're just starting. I think if I leave them on there, they should be okay to ripen. But yesterday I went back to the allotment, made a cocktail, a mixture. I put what's it called? Foliar feed onto it. Then I put in the ground where the roots are. I put then some pure nettle juice, some pure what's it called? I can't get the name of it now. Where I make the comfrey liquid. Then I put on some grow more. Then I put on what's it called? Vitex Q4 and some Epsom salt, and then I closed the hole again, gave it a little bit of water. So I said, if it'll either pick them up or it'll kill them.
It'll kill them, you.
So I'll see what happens tomorrow. Yep, I think that was the last one, Nick. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's the last one. that's from carnival time, where we had lots of fun with a wheelbarrow with horseback, and believe it or not, that is in the council houses where we have the reception of at the beginning of carnival. So the one that was Carnival Prince was in the middle, the one with the flat cap on. He was Prince that year, and we called him the Biggin. And he said, I can grow anything bigger than anybody else. So he said, okay, we'll do farm and vegetables. So we put a load of horse muck in a wheelbarrow and took it to the council meeting.
Good on you.
Everybody was okay with it, except we had to leave a bit early because it began to stink.
Excellent. Cheers, Jeffrey.
No problem.
Anybody got any queries for him while he's here?
Thanks, Jeff.
Was it-
That's interesting.
Jeffrey, nothing.
Yeah.
The tomato might have Italian blight on it. After Belgium, Italy beat Belgium.
Oh, no, I don't mind. As long as it's not English blight, it's okay.
Could you have overfed it and burnt the roots?
But I only feed seaweed feed once a week, and it's a half a cup. I put in one watering can of 10 liters, so that's it. But otherwise, they do not get any. Let's say, if I plant them, and for the first 10 days, I water them, and then after that, no more watering. They have to fend for themselves.
Yeah.
The only
Nick?
thing I do is the feed, and that's it.
It might be underwater in there.
No,
I've learned through the years, if you grow some, it's like Mick puts on his presentations. If you grow them in grow bags, they've got a little bit of feed in, and you've got to put tomerite in, that sort of thing. If I grow about 80 tomato plants this year in beds in the polytunnels and greenhouses, all in outside beds, no grow bags. I feed them nothing.
No, the only thing I feed is seaweed, and that's it.
I always find as long as you fertilise in the season, fish and bone, I feed them nothing, just water, and it could be overfeeding as well. Don't know.
Yeah. The only thing I do is the trench gets dug in autumn. I take out the soil, put it next to the trench, and take about 1 spade down, and then I put half a spade full of well-rotted manure, horse manure, from the stables.
Tomatoes don't
put
like
the soil back, and
tomatoes don't like that. Not at all. No, not a horse manure. The only thing I ever put in is a bit of bloodfish and bone, maybe at the beginning of the season, but never any horse. Never. I've been told never grow tomatoes or cucumbers. Well, cucumbers are different, but tomatoes do not like horse manure. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind betting. They've had a growth spurt and there's too much feed.
Oh, I'll have a look.
Well, the rest of the tomatoes are more right, aren't they?
Yeah, the tomatoes seem alright. Yeah, but just said the tomatoes about the size of my hand. They're up to 3 trusses now.
Do you think the roots might have hit some fresh manure and got burnt or something?
Yeah, I think that's it, Nigel. Something like that. They've come down. The roots have gone down. Maybe I don't know. The roots have gone down and they've hit something that's very strong. That's what I'd have thought.
Oh, okay.
Well, the plants are knackered. Just get it up. Get as much root as you can, and have a purr with the roots.
Yeah, I will. And I'll put them into a pot and see if that's it. Then I can prove Nick right or wrong. So I'll see. I'll have to job him anyway. So
yeah,
I'll see what I'll do with him. I'll let you all know.
Good man. Cheers, Jeffrey.
Thanks, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Good lad. Right down the plot, these are the black currants. He needs tying up, persuading him to grow up and not out. There we are, that's better. Because that about there is waist height, so I can pick without bending. Obviously I've got to bend now to get the stuff off the bottom, but I want to get him to go up. I've been doing that for the last 3 weeks. The last 3 years, sorry. Right, these started turning midweek, so I'm going to start picking them next week. I'm going to say once we get a bit of sun on them, that don't look likely in the next couple of days. Sweet corn's out. Nick, mate, got your hand up. Got a question, Nick? No, he's too good.
Sorry, yes,
mate.
Sorry, yep, that's black currant, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm no fruit man. I got a big fruit cage, and I don't look after it, and I've got loads of them like that. So I take it, and I normally don't pick them, and you're going to hate me for it. I let them go to waste, but I'm not this year. I got gooseberries as well. So the gooseberries and the blackberries, you just once they go black, you can pick them. And the gooseberries, when are they ready? I've got 2 varieties, which is a yellowy colour and a red colour.
I've done goosecocks for years.
Okay. Anybody else know?
The variety I had, mine was just for jams.
The red one's normally about end of July.
Yeah, I'd say
they're going red now.
They're red now.
Yeah, end of July,
Nick,
August. And they're called. Do you know if them called packs, Nick?
Sorry.
And they're packs. Good. Are them thornless or packs? PAX.
Packs. PAX.
Yeah.
Nope. Not that I know of. Like I said, I've got a big fruit cage. I've got blackberries, I've got gooseberries, and I got blueberries in there. About 6 of each. The blueberries always pick, 'cause I know, but the gooseberries I never know when to pick. I know they're very sour anyway. But
Nick,
the black.
Now the black gooseberries. Try one because they're normally sweet when they're ready.
The dark red ones, yeah.
They're not sour. They're very sweet. They're lovely.
Oh, okay.
And you'll know then.
Thank you.
They make good wine, Nick.
Yeah, I'm not a wine man.
Oh.
You ain't got time.
I haven't.
Right, sweet corn. If you have a look at the base, this is on the plot, obviously. A couple of weeks, that's going to break off, die off eventually. Then you can see through there, them trying to get out. Another set of roots. So all I'm going to do is earth him up, help him out, and then put the straw around. So that'll give me another extra root. Because when these starts maturing, you're going to get a bit of weight on there, especially these winds, rain, and whatever. But it still stops me using the cane because I've got mixture roots. Red currants, them are coming through as well. This is at the back garden and on the plot. These little chaps are late. There's quite a bit of stuff late this year. I think somebody says early on, about 3 weeks behind everything. But another couple of days and these should be open as well. Sweet peas, which I put in last year, I've started going up my trellis, and now because of the height of them, I've got to persuade them to go. Right, if I'm zooming on that one, that's just showing you nature. Look at the chap hanging on himself. It's great, nature. Love it. Obviously, I've got to help him along. So what I'm doing with him, I've got a wire across the top of there as well. So I'm just tying him down, and now I'm going to train him across there. Because obviously, when he gets a couple of foot high and get flowers on, the weight of it is going to snap him and whatever. So he's still going to look nice. And I've done that. Right, raspberries, top of the plot. These have started growing out now, so I'm going to tie them back up. That looks a bit better. And these will be thinned later on if they get too thick. Indoor plants, nice sunny day. It's usually every 2 or 3 weeks I'll bring him out and give him a nice feed. Right, banana feed. If you've got a few bananas and they started going brown, blacker the better. Obviously they're going to break down quicker. Just slice them up, get a spare jug of water, bung them in your jug. Go back on that one. Rainwater, obviously. We'll put them in a jug for 3 days. You're supposed to put a lid on. I ain't got a lid, so I'll put my own lid on, which is just a tissue paper with a pot on the top. We'll come back to him after 3 days. Right, we ain't seen no sun for a bit, so it's time to take the flour off the side of me. So it's just warm, soapy water with a scourer. Give them a scrub off, a bit of elbow grease. Get the watering can on it, and it comes straight off. That's better. Now when we do get a little bit of sun rays, they can go on my toms. The hound's still in the window in the morning. It's getting bigger now to what I was last time. Colin, this is yours. Everything out the plot except the pie. Good lad. That's the way to do it.
That was very, very tasty.
Good. This is our local nurseries, Clent. First time I've seen these this height. Somebody knows the name on them.
Cannellies.
Oh.
I've got in my garden. Cannellies.
Have you got them this size as well?
I had them last year that big.
I'm just thinking of them the size, and once these get wet like delphiniums, wouldn't look
no,
good.
they'll break off.
Nice and strong. The stems.
It's really solid.
Oh.
And you have to overwinter them in compost, which I didn't do last year. I lost about 6 plants.
Oh.
You have to put them in about a foot of compost, as long as it's dry, and they come back. That's beautiful.
Right, I just sent for some more neem oil, so I found this one, so I sent away for him. Wait for him to come. I saw this advert as well, Koya, somebody using these. This was advertised again. And where am I here? 15 quid for 5 kilo of compost. Anybody use Koya?
Yeah, me.
Any good?
Yeah, brilliant.
Good. You'll have to give us a talk on it. Good man.
I've used it, Mick, but there's no feed in it.
No. Right.
I've got your pants on, Mick.
Paul, as you can say, are you ready for this?
I've got your pants on. I had one for months.
Bloody hope you haven't got your pants on.
Expensive as well, that problem.
I got my thong on anyway.
Who wins it on his band?
No. Come on. Oh, yes! Oh, shit. Oh.
Yeah, you should have kept him off, Paul.
I know.
Well done, Steve.
Thanks.
Right. Yeah, Paul, you've still got a chance.
Yeah.
Have you
I'll
took them
never
off?
win. No, I'm back on.
You'll learn.
How many times have you won, Paul?
Twice. It's been months. Roland.
Roland, good man.
Spin it again, Mick. Spin it again. Put it back.
I'm not bothered. I've got a new car.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Nickmon,
Nick.
Spin it again, Mick. I'm all right.
Gordon, Bennett.
Just game, Paul.
Hey, you're going to win, man.
Cheers, Mick.
Right, all yours, good man.
What do you win, Mick?
Holiday.
In
Thanks.
life.
That was same as last week.
It's a fortnight in the Maldives.
Or whatever.
Right, our second speaker is a new one, Jacko, or Mark Jackson, local lad.
Evening, Jacko.
Hello. Can you hear
Good
me
man.
now?
Yeah.
All yours, mate.
Okie dokie. Yeah, I've tried to put a few slides together from sort of day one since I've had my plots down in Netherton. I had a plot beforehand in Tiverdale from 2011, so I moved a bit close to home in 2016. So as you can see, this is the plot when I took it on. I'd done a bit of work on it, but the guy that used to have it beforehand was about 77, I think, when he retired from it. So the top end, as you can see there, I don't know how much osmuck he'd put on it, but it's jet black basically, and he'd had thousands of potatoes in there. So I'd hand weeded it and I didn't stand on any of it, so to speak. And in the end, I thought, well, I'm going to leave it alone so I could see where the rest of the potatoes actually came up, because they kept coming up every time I weeded it. Do you want to go to the next one, Mick?
Yeah.
And this is down the bottom end of the plot, just making the sort of the beds, etc. Just taking my time. Next one. I like raised beds, if you want to call them raised beds, because I can control what I'm growing. The paths are quite wide, and there's a reason for that. My mother has arthritis, and my father at the time wasn't very good on his feet, and I wanted him to come down and sit down and walk around it, etc., etc. Hence why the paths are quite wide. Also, I suffer with rheumatoid arthritis as well, so when I have a flare up, I can't walk, but it's just much easier for me. I can still use the space there for buckets, potato buckets, etc. So it's not a wasted growing space, but that's the reason why I've done that. Next one, Mick. Oh yes, that's definitely 2016. Basically, me just getting stuff in. I'm trying to think. It was March when I took it on, Easter weekend, and I actually cleared this part in, I think it was 8 hours, and then started putting the membrane down. And I got all the stuff out basically, as you can see, courgettes, onions, all the rest of it. And that little raised bed there is actually what I call my father's plot, because my plot is number 5, and that's plot 5A. That was my late father's little rhubarb patch. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. I lost him last year, but that's his little plot, so to speak. Next one, Mick. And that is the top end, which you saw in the first picture. You can see the soil there. I know it might have rained, but it is jet black. All the timber I got was actually from somewhere my mother worked. They were basically having a new build for their floristry, their florist shop. Unfortunately, her brother decided to change the pitch of the roof without getting planning permission. So when they came and looked at it, they said, it's got to come down. It was £10,000 worth of timber. So they just asked, do you want the timber? So although that piece there, you can't see it, but I actually went down and got loads of joists and all the rest of it, which I actually utilised in my polytunnel as well. Next one, Mick. There you go, that's from the top end. I haven't got any pictures of the polytunnel going up, but inside the polytunnel, I think there's some pictures a bit later where you'll see the beds that I've made inside, and I've used the actual joists to make some pretty solid beds. But again, as you can see, the paths are nice and wide. That's it. So, and all that now, as you can see, the year on that is 2017. And I think I'm going to do another session on this a little bit later, probably in a couple of weeks' time, where you'll see it as it is now. So it'll show you where I've wood chipped all of that. But yeah, next one, Mick. There you go, some more. I'm not too bad with the old DIY. I do like doing that. So I do get my hands dirty on that aspect, and I can. I'll put the polytunnel up on my own actually. So yeah, I like power tools. So next one, Mick. And that's it looking up. And then this is a little bit later on, where I started to again split the long beds into three, and this is actually a recent one, or well, it was last year. And as you can see, I've actually done square foot gardening. All of these now are square foot gardening. I had done that at Tiverdale a while back, and I decided to do another trial of it on this particular site. So those three beds now are all square foot gardening, and I've become a bit of a lettuce king, so to speak. I'm not a compost king, but I'm a lettuce king because I grow thousands and thousands of lettuce, and I do bag it up and I do give it to people. Well, obviously when I was at work, now working from home, but I used to take it into work and give it away basically. So I've got thousands and thousands of it, and I've got a feeling those might be tomato plants last year. I'm not too sure, but okay.
Chris, why is it saying cultivator spelled wrong? How do you make it spell wrong?
Go on, Jack.
That's right. So this is again at the top end. As you can see, the wood there I've got, it's joists, all the old joists I've cut down, so they're still there. What I wished I had done, to be perfectly honest, is what Mick's done, is actually lined them with plastic or some form of weed membrane, etc., to protect the wood. But I didn't, so I'll probably have to replace the wood in the future. I mean, it did look like a timber yard at one stage, because everybody did keep saying how much wood are you bringing down, but it's all been well used. Okay, Mick.
Good man.
And this is inside the polytunnel, as you can see again. The joists there to make some solid raised beds on either side. Again, I've done the same with the pathway. It's a wide path in there, but I normally put pots up the sides with chili plants in and peppers, etc. So it's all utilised. That's actually quite tidy for a change. And the next one. And the next one. And this is the top end again a bit later on. And I actually put a cage up to keep the pesky pigeons off the damn things. I've never actually had to do this until I had this particular plot. I've normally got away with it, but I know we had a horrendous problem last year with pigeons, and they were having absolutely everything, thick plants that you would never have thought they would normally attack. You know, the runner beans, they were taking everything last year. So I think they just, I think they joined in with the pandemic aspect of it and decided to eat half the little plants. Okay. And that's it. A little bit later in the year, a bit neater and tidier. And I plant far too many runner beans. I think there's normally 40 up there, but I call this area Bean Alley. It's like an L shape. It runs across the path, down the side and across the plot. And it's quite good because it shields the sweet corn a little bit. And I normally put butternut squash in the back, the raised bed at the top towards that shed, and I just let them sprawl all over the place. Next one, please, Mick. There's some of my bits and pieces, my chilies, etc. Okay. Tomatoes, I do like growing various different styles of tomatoes, different types. I don't do the money maker, the Alicante or anything like that. They're always something a bit bizarre. Black Russian, black cherry, Marmande. There was one I did last year was Californian yellow. That was the largest tomato on that, was just under £3 in weight. So I do grow various different types, which people do like when I give them to them. Next one, please, Mick. As you can see there's some plum tomatoes as well. That's another one from outside. Didn't it look neat and tidy then? No weeds in sight. It's definitely not like that now. Okay. That's just showing the square foot gardening part again. I think that's I put wire now. That was string, and what I found is during the year it just kept obviously it broke with the wet and that. But I've actually got some plastic coated wire across there now to make it a bit more substantial. So some of my courgettes gone a little bit big, and there you go, the different various tomatoes and that I grow, and my runner beans. And these are what, although I use plastic bags, I started doing this last year. I started to put in little plastic boxes together for people with lettuce, various lettuce. I think that's got spinach in it, and just giving it out to people. And all I did is bring the plastic tubs back to me, and I'd fill them up again for them, neighbours and work colleagues and all that type of thing, and keep them fed. During the pandemic last year, basically. So that's what I tend to do. So,
good man.
Next one. A bit of sunshine there. We need a bit of that after today. That's actually last year, because if you can see at the back, you see the big compost bins I've got. I made those last year. They've got front plastic on the fronts now as well, and I've got the Daleks at the back, which I'm trying to follow Mick's sort of composting regime, etc. But those huge bins, and I'm finding them really useful, just to dump all the stuff, all the weeds, all the old plants, etc. And I'm going to mess around with anything now. So those have been although I've only had them for a year, they've been really, really useful. You can see a bit clearer on there. That was the broad beans last year. You found that as well, Mick?
I did. I have to get a photo.
Here you go. It's here.
Colin, you have to start a band up.
Oh.
Scott plays the guitar and all.
I've got a float.
Hey?
There you go.
Thank you for that, Jacko.
I used to.
Oh, excellent.
Any questions for Jacko on his plot?
Can I just say well done for giving all them veg to people?
Yeah.
Really nice thing to do.
He's a good lad.
I've always I also last year I couldn't do it as much, but every year since 2011 I've grown about 400 to 500 tomato plants every year, and I take, because of where I work, we used to have about 1,600 people in the building. So what I used to do was take them all into work and just put an honesty box there. And so I used to just raise money for charities, and there was 4 particular charities: Mary Stevens Hospice, Air Ambulance, Cancer Research, Macmillan Nurses. And I've done it for 10 years now, and but I've expanded it to other plants now, courgettes and all the rest of it. I just ask people, if you want to put some money, just do it. And last year was really nice because a lady came down to pick some plants up, and she just shoved £20 in my hand. I said, no, that's ridiculous. She said, no, because I know you put your money to charity. So I've done it for 10 years, and it's good, you know. It's what we're all about at the end of the day, the allotments. It's helping one another, giving advice and helping the community, especially over the last 18 months that we've had.
Boston, Jacko. Boston.
Good man.
Nice one, mate.
Cheers, Jacko.
Thank you.
You have a star.
Brilliant, thank you.
Right, back on the plot. Top of the plot, this is my top orchard. Right, pear tree. I've only had this a couple of years. As you can see, it needs tying up. I've got to point him out because it's all green. So I've got my wires up. So I'll get in there and I've tied him up. So these got 3 going either side. There was fruit on these earlier on in the year. First time I've ever had fruit on it, so with a bit of luck. Well, there's nothing yet. The hound went to have his haircut, her haircut I should say, last week. First time ever. We don't think it's stopped with them. But,
Nice tell, Mick.
Oh.
Mick, nice same barbers as you.
Yep. Yeah. Haircut cost more than mine.
Mick, what's that brown stuff on patio?
That's the dog.
That's weed, that is.
Where? That?
There at the bottom, look, yeah.
That's rust out of these.
All right.
That's what it does, burns its way into it. Right, these chaps are opening up. I can never remember the name on them. But that's an extra bit of colour on the plot. Right, he needs tying up. I'm tying him up. That's the one now. He's tied up as well, and the rains we've had this afternoon, he's now hanging over these. If these hadn't been there, he'd have snapped him off. We had a hell of a rainstorm this afternoon. And these were early. I had these as a small plants earlier on, Flimizzy, down South Wales, early on in the year. And there's one of them opened up, which is good to see.
Hello.
Photo.
Calla lilies, Mick.
Sorry?
Calla lilies.
Correct.
Lilies.
Yeah.
They come back every year.
Yeah, love them. I had some in the border, the bottom of the patio, but they've just started to come through now.
And mine.
So
them
are late. Deadheading. If I got time, then I'll deadhead everything. Obviously, I want to get more blooms. That's on most things, and these as well. Just take all the deadheads off. This was the first plot committee meeting we've had for 2 years. Once that was over, because 3/4 of us are in the gardening club, as well as the plot committee. Once the plot side of it are cleared off, then we had an extended gardening committee.
Party.
Which is good for us lot, because we can all walk to it. Sorting all the bits and pieces out which we need sorting. Right, one thing we sorted out was plots we've given up. The chap who had this one, he used to run Wilson Hall, which is where we used to have our show. Meaning I was in 2 minds. Normally I'd kick them straight off. Because we use it for a show, I thought, bugger, you've got me. I don't want to upset him. Anyway, we've cleared them off, so we cleared him off and all. But meaning, the chap who took this on, within 2 weeks, that's how he'd looked after it. It was all like that. It was all crap. And he's keen, meaning he's a gardener. when they're on the waiting list, you ain't got a clue if they're a gardener or not. This is another one who took this on 2 weeks before that last chap. He's now had a public warning, and he's done something about that. Right, as you walk up the drive where our new shed is, up Clady Town Football Club, this is the side what they see. Something else I mentioned to our committee what was having there. I says, right, our emblem which we got for Colligate Garden Club on our polo shirts, I'll have it printed out, enlarged obviously, and put it on the side of there, advertising our gardening club. And that's what we're going to have done. So that should be on for the next one. Somebody mentioned earlier on about me, my book. He says what you need to do is not just advertise the book in a sense. He says do a little 30-second video or something. So I've done this. Facebook. Basically, with my book, it says you can go back to it. If you've got a normal book with not many pictures in, you think, now I've got to go through that. Now, where was it? And you got to look at all this crap. You know, it's another advert for me and all, just in case you ain't got one yet.
Put it on Mick, I put it on a few sites, but they just took it down.
Oh, yeah, there's quite a few you called it that. I've been thrown off sites. I couldn't give monkeys.
And this site, I put this site on as well.
Oh. Right, these have come through. They were looking brill until Brian got room to put the photos on tonight. Someone started yomping them. Lily Beetle.
Lily Beetle, red one.
Yeah, which ain't them. They've turned into slugs. Or is it the slugs before you get the beetle?
No, the Lily Beetle's red and it eats all the leaves.
I know there are, but there's no beetles there. There's little grubs on them.
No, it's worms, isn't it?
They're weevils normally.
Ah. I'll put the photos in next time anyway. I ain't got room tonight. Right, this one is for Shinar's Balti House. I've got to pot him on.
Good luck.
Nice wide, thick roots. One of yours, Paul.
Oh no, yellow jalapeno.
Red him out.
That's hot.
Get him a good waiter in. Put me
lovely, man.
Mulch on the top. Gaffer, make sure you're not doing it right.
Dog's watching.
Right, I had this from Wilco. I saw this about 6 months ago. It's like a plastic, but it's in a roll, obviously. And I thought that's going to come in for something, and it's been there ever since. And I thought, I know what I'm going to use it for now. As you come in the doorway here, I've got this corner. Nothing up there. The desk is here. I thought I'm going to utilise that bit there because you've only got enough space in the shed. So all the canes I've got different lengths. Nick, yes mate.
Your sprayers, the Fritz sprayers.
Yes.
I cannot get them to work.
Why not?
Don't know. I've had 2 of them. I've had 3 actually. I use a plastic 2-litre Pepsi can. Why won't they work?
There's either air getting in and it's stopping the old suction strapper, or your washer's gone.
These are new. You sent me one a couple of years ago. I can't get them to work.
It should be alright then.
Don't know.
I'll cover that another time when I got more.
I've had one.
Do you do just a nozzle at all?
Are you getting
Yes.
Are you getting any pressure, Nick, when you press it?
No, nothing. It's really weird. I use I use Pepsi.
It's not sealed, then,
Can you
is
hear
it?
me, Nick?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Colin, was that you?
Nick,
Yes, I can hear you.
can you hear me? Try filling it up and turning. I'm trying.
Come on, Col. Spit it out.
Colin, you're breaking up your signal.
He's in the pub, that's why.
I'm
not that bothered because I've got a 5 litre proper spray.
I'm having a nightmare with the reception tonight. But Nick, if you feel you
That submarine.
He's got really bad weather. He's got a storm.
Yeah. Colin, you're breaking up. We'll job you next time. A couple of weeks' time.
I mean, I'm not that bothered. I've got a 5 litre proper spray thing, but it's the frip one. I've tried to pressurise it, nothing.
We'll have to move on. Nick, we'll job it later.
Okay, mate, no worries.
Good man. So under these, my tallest canes are going to be on the top, working their way down. Because all this lot, obviously, I don't want them smacking into these. So slowly working my way down. And I've done it so the top ones are right at the back. These are going to come off first, them are the first ones I'm going to use. No growing summit. And they're right at the front so they can come off. And them and new replacements for these so they're stuck out the way of the top there. So that's another job out the road. You can see they're better now. The last ones are right at the back, then the second, and so on. Right, that's my new bonsai. He's still doing well. Right, I had loads of stuff go to seed this year, which I don't normally. This is my spinach. But I've still planted him out because he's still growing, in the sense these lower leaves are still getting larger. Although he's gone to seed, he's still growing. And we had a good meal off these last week. So I'm glad I did that. Right, when I've chopped his head off, I've got loads of these little chaps coming out. And I'm still picking them. Everything doing well. Why has he gone bloody loop there? Right, onions, first time I've had these, good to seed for yonks. Usually overwintering. I did them about 3 years ago, and I had a few good to seed. So I stopped doing the overwintering ones. But this year, first time I've had these, good to seed. Obviously it's a checking growth, meaning too hot, too cold, too dry, or too wet, or loopy. Extreme conditions from one to the other. The last time they did go to seed, that was that well advanced, there was still a bit of meat on them. Although you've got the core down the middle, which goes obviously straight down the middle, the onions have got a good bit of meat on, so you can just use them first. Chop them, obviously take the core out, but you can still use the rest of them. But the onions this time, they got no meat on them, so I've had to bin the lot. Nick, yes mate?
Yeah, I tell you, it's not just growing for eating, it's growing for showing. It's big onions, hot code and everything. There's been so many people across the web, the Facebook pages. I've had some show onions go to seed. Luckily my big ones haven't, but it's an absolute nightmare this year.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, my spinach, even in the pots, so I didn't bloody planted them out. Then with the seed.
Yeah, mine
These are
have
the
gone
ones.
to seed as well.
Sorry?
Yeah.
My spinach has gone to seed.
Yeah.
It's still in pots.
I put coriander out,
Basil.
spinach, Swiss chard. A lot of it's gone to seed.
Yeah. That's how growing. Potluck. Right, the ones that are left in obviously haven't gone to seed. So I ain't loose a lot. The canes I've took up and my clips and we put down in the polytunnel on the plot to dry the bases out. Rhubarb, if you remember a couple of months ago I picked quite a lot off this and took it up the old folks home up top. Yeah, it's got a good spirit on again. Because I'm feeding, it's still growing. Still no sign of going to seed because I'm using it. And next week I'm going to pick another good dollop, make some wine, so we'll cover that as well. There's a few asked for me to make some wine with it. As you can see, there's some decent stems.
Nick,
So-
would you feed your rhubarb with?
What do I want? What do I feed?
Yeah, would you feed it with?
Liquid osmuck,
Alright, okay.
liquid fish,
Yeah.
alternate feeds.
Okay.
just look after the chaps. These have just started pinking up now. As you can see, they're even better. He's just starting up, but was looking well. And these delphiniums. Right, ladies, I'm going to show you my bush. Yes, that made you look up. This is getting my paper run on the morning. I've passed this for yonks, but it doesn't show it off. This is that yellow, whatever it is. I'm trying to zoom in, somebody might recognise it.
Called the Choisia.
Choisia.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful yellow all year round. It's a corker.
Is that in the corner by you, Mick?
Yeah, top of the road. Yeah. You can't walk past it and not look at it.
Don't pinch your cutting, Mick.
Oh,
Good knock the door.
Keith, that's the best thing I've had off you this year. There's my other one down the plot. Good to see him, but I'm still jobbing him.
What was the first one?
That one.
No,
Nah.
that one.
That one
there.
That's Keith's perpetual.
Mm.
Everlasting.
That one.
Keith, was that I'm gonna get my label on that.
You've got one.
It's Perennial Kale.
Yeah, it's Dor Benton's Perennial Kale.
Kale, that's it all. Thank you for that, Keith.
No problem.
As you tell, my memory's crap.
I would, every couple of years, just take some cuttings and replace it.
You're broke up as well, Keith.
Yeah, every couple of years I take cuttings and replace it because it does get quite big.
Yeah. I'll job that into the year. So we're still getting meals off it. This is that one and my first spring cabbage I planted. Still using the same one. Slice everything up, the smaller the better. And dry quicker. Right, fuchsias, which we used to have up the back garden. This was edging. These are small fuchsias fair they put in years ago. They still come up every year. The roots must go down bloody miles. So I just sprayed them with weed killer. Weed killer probably 2 weeks ago. It has jobbed them, and that died down completely now. Keep on top of them. Once I've got the taste of it, I'm looking at it. Right, 3 days have gone. Banana skins, potassium, phosphorus, calcium, loads of good little chaps. Dilution rate 5 water, 1 to juice. I haven't looked into the foliage side of it yet. I suppose somebody's got it on eBay somewhere. Actually, now I like my foliage feeds as well, so I'm going to look into that. But feeding wise, these are my tomatoes in the greenhouse. Once I'd watered everything, then I thought, well, I ain't going to waste the skins themselves. So I went down a couple of inches and I put the skins in as well, a couple of plants. Exactly the same, me putting them in a compost heap, down in the soil. So I've done that. And that one there, all that there, is that bit there, I've done a close-up of it. And because there's been no disturbance, don't forget, I've got me on mycelium working away, i.e. nature.
Where's that come from, me?
Nature.
Nature.
Just moisture and bacteria, fungi working away in the... It's got to be dark, obviously moist.
It's not, Mick, that's not mode, is it?
No, mycelium.
Okay.
It's like if you go to a wooded forest and scraping leaf mould.
Yeah.
White fibrous roots behind. So that's mycorrhizal fungi. Just nature, get going. I'm also going to feed me my cucumber and all. There's my climbing spinach. He had a bit and all. Need me pepper.
That's just banana skins, yeah?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Let's go on that run. Right, taking the hound for a walk. You see where the council have mowed the front bit. And then I saw these in the back, in between the weeds. I thought, Gordon Bennett, how come them are still there? They must have been there a while.
Oh, was this?
But it's nice to see. It's one of somebody here, Nickham, especially around by us. Jeffrey, there's your little chap from that seed you sent us. So he has flowered on the first year.
That's
Obviously,
nice.
I saw him earlier on. I think you mentioned that last week, Colin. If you sow the seed early enough, you will get flower first year. While we're mining, there's me another Gladdy coming up. And if you can see, if you've got a good eyesight, there's a bit of a green leaf there. I think I've got him on the next photo. There he is. A dahlia is just coming through. So that shows you how late that is. That's bloody late, that is. And there's my last one in the pot. I thought, well, I'm going to plant him out. So this is top of the garden in my shallot bed. He needs to go out. So I'm going to mark under his arrows and get him a good soaking. Want to get as much off as we can. Carrots in my tub, still picking them. Don't let them dry out. I'll give them a watering if I want any out. Give it 10 minutes and then just pull them out finger and thumb. There's still loads in there. Don't forget the gaps which these make, and now give them room to expand. So keep watering them and look after them. So after I've picked them, I'll get another good soaking. Steve, yes mate.
Them that you picked, Mick, how big are they? How long?
Probably about 4 or 5 inches long.
Okay.
Well, you only top and tail, no need to peel them. And the hound loves them as well.
Yeah.
These are the geese next door to me on my plot. Good, well, they're not dogs, but they're good guard geese, if that's a proper word. I crap myself when I walk up the pathway because they stand up and they're bigger than me.
You get any egg?
Right, when I get me me new fruit tree, I need some decent stuff to grow him in. So I went down to the plot again, lid off the first one. Just 2 leaf mould, Newen and Alden. That's a good brew. Nature doing its business. Keep it moist, keep it warm, and it'll break down. If it dries out, keep it moist. This is my old leaf mould. Obviously this is from last year. That is why it's break down to that. Beautiful stuff. So I bagged quite a bit of that up, took it back home.
How do you get worms out, Mick?
I'll pick them out when I get home. Unless I'm using it as a top dressing in the raised beds, then I'll leave them in because I do me digging.
Right.
Right, grapevine, as I mentioned before, that's going loop in the greenhouse. Any new shoots, because I've got my bunches on, like that one there, you just come off again. I don't need more on. These will still get thinned later on to give me larger, sweeter fruit. Look at that. Boston. I'll eat half of that, then put some more gravy on. Right, tough ball, 8.8 ounce carrots. I've got to skin them down. Cheers, Dave, for the info. These will get up at 10.25 inches, so I'm on 10, so I've got to keep an eye on it. All skinned down. Then we put in the green waste bin. Keep me tape measure handy. Right, my neem oil come in the post. This is for 5 ml of neem oil to 1 ml liquid soap, and that's to a 1 litre spray can. I'm using this chap now. That's what it looks like shook up. When he settles, that's what it looks like. Like everything else, anything and you mix up, you gotta get it a good shake before you use it. But it's just an alternative insecticide because they get used to them. Suzanne?
Yeah, that neem oil, I looked at instructions on the bottle that I've got, and it says after, I think it was 9 hours, you have to get rid of it if you've not used it.
Yeah, it
Does it
breaks
say that
down.
on yours?
The solution breaks down. It does if you leave it too long.
So you're going to end up, if you don't use it, or I guess you're going to waste a lot then, aren't you?
Yeah.
Unless you
Mine's
only
only
mix
a
up a
half
little
litre
bit.
spray.
Is that a touch of thrift there, Mick?
Yeah. So by the time I've sprayed everything up the greenhouse and on the plot in the tunnels, whatever, it's near enough emptied anyway. Yeah, it is, and that's for spraying as well. Right, we've jobbed them. Straw's picking him out the basket. He's doing well. He started climbing the string. As you can see, he's even hanging on himself. He's asking me to help him out, so I did. Hound waiting for the carrot. Right, my first tree come. As you can see, he's a good one.
The best.
Victoria Plum. Had this from Roots. 32 quid. Or he's a 5-foot tree in a 9-litre pot. That's why it's 32 quid. I'll do in the last 2 or 3 years before I get any fruit. This is one of my Christmas presents. When I did the pot, the growing medium on the top of here, that was something else new. I still can't make out what that was. It's I don't know.
Looks like grass cuttings.
Nah, there's fibres on it.
Looks like
flax.
a root.
It's flax.
Is it?
Yeah. We get it down here now for stabling.
Natural product, so it's alright.
What is it, Jeff?
Flax. Like they used to make sheets and everything out of it.
Flax? Never heard of it.
They grow it in fields like it's a purple flower.
Look like roadkill.
Right, I'm getting 3 fruit trees, so 3 pots, large ones. Right, so I mentioned earlier on, I used this before, Chard or Biochar. If we moving on that one, Biochar, mycorrhizal fungi, seaweed, worm cast, trichodermia, all good products. Trichodermia is another fungi. Grow charcoal, basically biochar. Years ago, natives used to, when they was cooking something, obviously whatever they was burning, the embers they used to use, or the ashes that was left, they used to throw it on their beds, whatever they was growing, and the stuff was went superb. It was one of the best fertilisers out. Basically, it's biochar. And I've got
me and Colin spoke about this in week.
Yeah.
I've watched a few videos on this.
It's worth having a nose because it works.
Yeah, it does.
We got Rowley giving us a talk in a couple of weeks on it because he does it. He's giving us a few lessons on it. There ain't many people that do it properly to the letter, but he's going to give us a go.
Where's that from then, Mick?
This stuff.
Yeah.
From Carbon Gold, eBay.
I'll have some of that.
They are Carbon Gold. But they also do one for trees, fruit trees, and they gave me this bag years ago. I forgot I got it. So obviously I'm going to use it.
Carbon Gold.
And basically, if I can get on the next picture. There we are. Those are the big lumps. Obviously, I've zoomed in, but these hang on to everything. Rolly will explain it better when he does his little talk. So I've got all my bits which I've got from the plot. Now carrying that bag up to back to the greenhouse, I saw this little chap on the corner here. I recognise that leaf, so I dug him up. Little begonia, and they was in there 3 years ago. God knows what he was doing down that in. So I dug him up and planted him. Looked after the chap. I'm pressing buttons here like wildfire, and this is slow as well, meaning we've got interference. Right, that's my growing medium. What I've just took out of my leaf mould bin and my compost bin. I've mixed them all together. So this is my own growing medium. We have now run out of compost on that plot. Good brew. Tells me it's a good brew. There's worms in it. Right, my pots, because I haven't used them for a while, I'm going to sterilise them, meaning this is nice thick plastic, so there's boiling water going on. Then I've made me little, it's only newspaper, but it stops everything dropping out them holes on the bottom. Put him in, what a perfect size, same level as or just under. So I put my brew on the bottom, and a fishful of big Biochar. Make sure he's level and upright. This was the bottom of the bag when I lifted him out. Obviously, I hadn't rooted this lot. So this was the growing medium what they grew in. See the little feed pellets what they've got in there. But this is like a mulch as well, what they're using. Obviously, if it's a natural product. Right, he's nice and upright. Let's get him on the level. He's level there, so he's nice and upright. Right, the cane that he is in, be careful, because I know he's a bit out of focus, but these two here was that tight. The next shoot that was coming out there is nearly snapped him because he was that close to the cane. So all I do is cut them off, and then I put my own tyres on, meaning he's got movement. You know, it's opened that one up now, he can breathe, where before he couldn't move. And the label, I took it off the plant, put it on the cane. And he's gone back behind there so the hound can't get at him, and he's given a good watering. He's had a good bloody watering today. So eventually I want 3 or 4 of them down there. Right, leek and onion men, quite a few years ago used to use Campac. It's 2438 and whatever. This one obviously number 8, low nitrogen NPK, and you use these from June onwards. Campac number 8. There's loads of things you can use it on. Professional tips, leeks and onions. That's what. Well, there's sweet peas, runner beans, delphiniums, bonsai. Loads of them. It's a late feed. There's loads of late feeds about. And that's what the blanch leeks are getting now. And the leeks in the tunnel, not these small ones. Right, he's 10 1/4, so that's in a day. He's put 1/4 inch on. It was 10 inches, so he's now lifted. Now we're going to clean him up. I thought, yes, I remember one of these. If I soak him, he'll act as a nice sponge. So I'll use him to clean him off, and that's what I used him for. So that's another use for him. He's a decent shape as well, nice clean underneath. So I bunged him out on the cover. Don't forget this is on the cover, so I've got air movement around him. When there's some more that size, then I'll take them up as well. God, this is really slow. Our weather affects the radio, everything. TV, a lot. This is going to jump 3 pictures in a minute.
Mick?
Yes.
With that onion there, now you've lifted it, will you reduce any size through evaporation and moisture loss?
That's why I lifted it at 10 1/4. It's usually 10 1/2 maximum, but 10 1/4. But I only need 2 for the show.
Yeah.
But it's trial in her. I'll see what they do.
You probably find that they actually increase, Nigel. Surprisingly enough. I found that with shallots.
Okay.
Mick, how do you dry them for the skins? To get the skins on?
The air will dry them out. Air movement.
So how long do you leave them out for?
Well, these are dried off the shallots. Them was the first lots. Once I skin them down, they will be nice and brown underneath. In fact, I'll do a couple of them next week just to show you. Them are picklers. These are the big ones here on the front. But they go exactly the same as them. Them will dry off exactly the same as well. Some people who ain't got something like I have, where you can leave them out, there's air movement. They put them in the loft somewhat, or put a fan on them. But you gotta have air movement. I'm just going back the other. Oh, it is working that way. It just ain't going forward. No. I'm froze. I ain't fur off anyway. It ain't bloody going. There's only a couple more photos of the bougainvillea. And then just to say, don't forget there's no Zoom next week because of the footy. And
Oh yeah.
on that one we got Keith, Neil and Rowley. So that'd be the 18th.
You're going to show that onion, Mick?
Sorry?
Are you going to show that white onion?
Yeah.
Does it lose marks for the foliage not being, you know, complete? Because it's...
He'll be cut off there.
Got you.
When that's dried, he'll be tied with raffia and then trimmed. But I'll do all that crap later on.
Yeah.
We'll follow that.
Vic, you know, right at the beginning, you was talking about the koya. Where did you get that from?
That was somebody put on a Facebook page. Just to say, have you tried it? Because of the cost of it, I don't fancy paying that much.
Yeah, because I've been given my neighbour's husband died, and she was looking after a wormery for him for his fishing for worms.
Yeah.
And she's given it to me. So, and it says on there when you start off the layer to put on a bit of koya. So I was interested.
Because whoever bought it up, they says you've also got to add your fertilisers as well. You know, which is more expensive. But if nobody can get any compost, then we got no choice, have we? You got to find different things.
So in my wormery, they only have koi and kitchen scraps.
Suzanne, have a look, see if you've got a hydroponic shop near you that you'll be able to buy a little, like a house brick, and just soak it in water.
Yeah, I was looking at on that picture that Mick showed. It had the pellets on there, the little pellets. And I thought maybe that couple of them soaked would do like a layer.